It is dubbed Super Saturday, and it's Super Saturday for a reason. Three huge meetings in front of the ITV cameras, 11 races live on terrestrial TV to look forward to this weekend. And Jason Weaver is alongside. And Jason, there's massive races at Newmarket, York, and Ascot. It's a chance for some of these lesser known jockeys because there's such a spread. The big names are obviously mainly at HQ, so these lesser known jockeys get their chance to shine.
Yeah, massively. Such a great point. And we get the return to action, don't we? PJ McDonald has got some fantastic rides. Ray Dawson is going to come in from some very good rides for the Roger Varian stable. It's an opportunity for everybody. It's a little bit crazy. It all just sort of came together. I don't think it was planned, and maybe they will have a rethink about it. But yeah, we have got 11 races, I think, for you in front of the ITV cameras, a whole host of top-class action.
Right, 11 races, 11 winners. Let's go. Right, we start at Newmarket then, the 212. It's a 7 furlong fillies handicap. Loads of these come into this in form. I mean, for me, this is a pin job. I think it's really tough.
Yeah, it's good. You've got two bits of form, I think, that you need to focus in on. Kita Kotai and Heritage House both ran in listed company behind Jabara. That form is particularly strong. That was up at Carlisle. And right down the bottom, Miss Bodacious for Carl Burt looked very good when winning over 6 furlongs. And she slots in right down the bottom of the handicap. I think I'll have to stick with Heritage House. I'm a big fan of Sean Levy. I think that he's a positive jockey switch taking over. And we really will help his sort of hold up tactics to come through late on. I think Heritage House will be a bit of a player in the opening fillies handicap.
There we are then, maybe at a nice price. So right, 250, we're up a furlong and trip for a mile for the 3-year-olds. Plenty of these met in the Britannia at Royal Ascot, but again, another wide open handicap.
Yeah, what should be one of the most competitive handicaps throughout the day, but could easily go to what I think is a dangerously well handicapped runner. Kirat, who goes for Rafe Beckett. Ryan Moore comes in for the ride. You only have to have a look back at the Britannia. It's not Hector Crouch's fault, but was drawn on the wrong part of the track. The race started down the middle. Kirat was the only one really hammering through the line up against the stand side rail. That's a strong piece of form, and surely 92 is nowhere near his ceiling. May well turn one of these handicaps into a bit of a procession.
Interesting, yeah. Kirat in the Juddmonte Silks then. We've got the first juvenile contest of the day at Newmarket, the Group 2 Superlative Stakes, of course, won last year by the great city of Troy. Aidan O'Brien and Ryan Moore, they've got the Parthenon in it this year. Again, there's Royal Ascot form, but it's likely to be the unbeaten Godolphin juvenile that heads the market.
Yeah, Ancient Truth has been pretty impressive. Obviously, course and distance form is strong. By Dubawi, lots to like, official sort of rating up around triple digits, 107, somewhere like that. And when you go down through them, you're sort of clutching. Columnist ran really well at the Royal Meeting. Pental Bay, although he was second, he was a bit of a distant second, wasn't he? You know, it was a bit of a non-event bar the winner. I have to say the Parthenon, he ran in Group 3 company on his racecourse debut. He's going to be a big price as well. He then wins in a little race, admittedly, at Goran, but was only getting going right on top of the line. Got a wonderful pedigree, and you hit the head on the nail. You hit the nail on the head when you mentioned that they won it last year with City of Troy. They're not sending him over for the fresh air. The Parthenon, overlooked in the market.
Yeah, it's the head on the nail, that's for sure. But yes, the Parthenon then to keep it for Coolmore, the Superlative Stakes. Right, the devilishly difficult Bunbury Cup. We've got all favourites. Bless him in here, who's won this race before. Plenty of these ran at Royal Ascot. Ryan Moore was on board the winner last year with Biggles, and Carry the One ran an excellent trial, went third at Royal Ascot. I mean, these handicaps, if you get a winner, they certainly are. It's worth getting, isn't it, those prices?
All right, it's a big race, great race, fantastic heritage handicap. If you look towards the top of the market, a While, who's been a really good performer for Simon and Ed Crisford. That team are just starting to come into form. You know, they've had a woeful time. They were quite clearly sick, but lumping 9 stone 12 up here, I've sort of delving in, trying to find something that attracts me at a little bit better, well handicapped. I've come up with Yorkshire for Ed Bethel. Now, Ed Bethel's team are in tremendous form. Sadly, Matt, we're both old enough to remember mine managing to win this race for his father on numerous occasions underneath Richard Quinn and the likes, the jockeys who rode him. Yorkshire fits the bill perfectly. He very nearly got up on the line at Doncaster over 7 behind Silver Samurai. He ran over the mile last time. He comes back in trip for a race that sets up for a bit of a closer. I think Yorkshire's a massive price. He's in there, huge double digits. Good rider on board as well. There's lots to like about him at an each way price. His dad won it. Why won't he win it?
Yeah, I remember mine. Of course, he won a couple of times, didn't he? Those pink silks and the chevrons. Yeah, the guy's going back some. Right then, the big one of the day is, of course, the Group 1 July Cup. Inisherin, so impressive, of course, in the Commonwealth Cup. When there was no Van Dijk, he missed that engagement, but he was all the rage champion 2-year-old. Of course, he's back now after finishing behind him at Haydock. I mean, there's so many plots and stories in here. They're the 2-3-year-olds. You've got lots of older horses, like some Millstream, third at Royal Ascot as well. It's a cracking renewal. A dozen go to post. Will it be the classic generation, or will the older horses have their day?
Well, if you were to say about, I don't know, 3 days ago here in headquarters, the rain that was coming down, it all pointed towards one of the real mudlarks, the likes of a Kinross, to come into his own. The ground has dried. It just remains overcast. It's not drying that much, but decent ground conditions. And I have to say, you go into the bottom of the pack. I'm loath to go away from Inisherin because he looks straightforward. He's an easy conveyance. He looks like a bit of a top-range automatic car, doesn't he? You just push the button, it starts, and away you go. You can ride him forward or back. But I still have a feeling that Van Dijk and the Simon and Ed Crisford team, I think he can come and save their season. They need something. We're just reaching the halfway point. They need to step up. They need their patience, hopefully, can be rewarded. I've got to stick with Van Dijk. I still harken back to how good he was as a juvenile, and he could be the answer.
Brilliant, yes. Van Dijk can get back to winning ways, of course. So, right, that's 5 races done at Newmarket. We're not even halfway through the service. So, right, we've had some real tough races already, but mile handicaps at York are always difficult to try and fathom. And they've got 16 going to post here. El Najam will probably take out a chunk of the market. But again, these races on the nose, Maya, they're tough to find the winner. But again, you'll be well rewarded if you do.
Yeah, look, some old favourites of mine running in here: La Trinidad, Roscoeling, Northern Express. For all the world, he keeps knocking his head against the bar, doesn't he, over the mile? But he surely wants 7 furlongs is his ideal scenario. And it is a bit of an old favourite. Surprisingly, he's not had as many races as you would think. Brunch now looks dangerously well handicapped. You've got to have a look at him for the Michael Dodds team. He's dropped down to a really attractive mount. He was running in triple digits for so long, has very strong form here at the track. And this is where you get an angle for your jockey bookings. Connor Beasley normally rides him all the time, doesn't he? Daniel Muscat gets on board for the first time. Where's Connor? He's up the north of the country, way up there at Hamilton for an evening meeting. Have a little look at his rides up there if he's decided to switch away from this particular venue. But Brunch is a big, big runner now. He's dangerously well handicapped at an each way price.
Yeah, so a quick look at those then, see where he is right. I'm sure he'll have something that he has gone up there for. Yeah, he's got My Noble Lord for Michael Bell, Arkansas, of course, for Michael Dodds, Ledger later on as well. So yeah, I'm sure Connor Beasley will be having a winner at Hamilton because he just got on very well with Brunch, as you say, at York. Right, over the flying 5 for the listed City Wall Stakes. Only 9 go to post. A really interesting lightly race runner coming over from Ireland, from JL Lyons' stable, taking on some hardy sprinters.
Yeah, a little bit of a guessing game, backing up really quickly. Just 8 days ago, something like that we saw Yafimenko down the bottom. Look, Starlust was an easy winner here in handicap company. You got Clarendon House, who's an absolute rocket in the sprinting division. PJ McDonald, one of a bunch of really good rides for him on the card. He's likely to be favourite. I'm going to give Rogue Lightning one last chance. Now, obviously, we know about Sold for So Much Money. Ran behind Curtis at Haydock. Didn't reproduce at the Royal Meeting after a very slow start. Smaller field, sights lowered. Let's hope they can get him back on track. I think Tom Clover's a classy handler. and Danny Tudhope has winning form on the horse.
There we go then. Yeah, Rogue Lightning trying to get back a big share of that £1 million prize of £1 million sales fee, of course. Right then, we've had some tough races to decipher already, but throughout the season, there's not many tougher, Jason, than the John Smith's Cup. 22 runners, 10 furlongs. The Magnet Cup, as we used to know it, of course, one of the biggest betting races of the year. I'll allow you a couple of darts if you like.
Okay, I'll take a couple as well. I think we'll need it in this particular lineup, and it won't be a horse who's done us a couple of favours, Epic Poet, because he comes back down to 10 furlongs. I think that might just catch him out a little bit, although he will be staying on late in the day. First pick has to be Enfajar, who goes for Roger Varian and Jack Mitchell. He managed to win at Chelmsford. It's the profile that I like more than anything. He only gets a £5 penalty. He won easily in a slowly run race, and they were testing out the trip. I think he'll stay no problem. He's won 3 from 6 overall, so he's a lightly raced improver coming from a big operation. That's the angle you want in. Also, he's drawn down in stall number 1. He's going to get the ideal run through, can pop out, sit mid-division, and work his way into the contest. So he's going to take the shortest way around. And what on earth happened to Botanical last time? He went off a red-hot favourite at the Royal Meeting. Prior to that, he won pulling a cart coming down here, didn't he? For Roger Varian. Who's that man we talked about? PJ McDonald. He comes in for a great ride here on Botanical. I don't think he's quite reached his limit yet from a mark of 107. So, yeah, could be a good day for the Varian stable. Lots of money on offer.
Yeah, and 2 big darts, as you say, then, for Roger Varian in the John Smith's Cup. Right, let's move on then to the Silver Cup. Plenty of these will be back, no doubt. Certainly the winner will be back for the Ebor at the big meeting next month. And we've got the 1-2 from the Grand Cup recently as well, Klondike and Salt Bay. There was very little to choose between them that time, and there's little to choose between them on the market as we talk here.
Yeah, I think that Hector Crouch will be wanting to get his head in front desperately. I thought Klondike was given an absolute peach on that occasion. Ryan Moore was at his absolute best. Richard Kingscote, he's been doing a tidy job of it. Did us a favour the other day up on the front end at Sandown as well for John Gosden, coming in for some really, really good spins throughout the day. I have to say, I think Deauville Legend returned to something like his best form last time, a staying on third over an inadequate trip. This looks the ideal setup for him, whether it's for him to come back for the big one, the Ebor, or whether it's because he's going to come back and they've got an eye longer term again on going back over abroad. But Deauville Legend, much better effort from him last time. I think he'd be picking these up late in the day.
Interesting. And Deauville Legend, it was a bit of an eye-catching one, wasn't it? At Chester. Right. Ascot, the third meeting. Incredible that Ascot is the third meeting we're going to look at as well. And their opener is over the Flying 5 furlongs. It's off at 1:45. And again, it's just one of those typical sprints. Is it a case of whose turn is it this time?
Yeah, I think that's a fair call. Rohan's been a good horse. Albashir's always threatened to be a group horse. I'm going to have 2 stabs at this, if you don't mind, Matt. The first of them will be Vintage Clarets. He's only run at this venue on a couple of occasions. Both of them have been incredibly solid. I know you're going to go back to his juvenile days where he ran an excellent third in the Coventry. But he's been a real good sprinter, real good opportunity for Jack Garrity to get a big winner on the board. And I'm loath to put up Existent because he keeps threatening to get the job done. But there is no getting away from the fact that he is £14 lower than when he ran in this last year. He is so well handicapped, but will it be too little too late? He's one of those. He'll be thrusting home late in the day. Vintage Clarets, I'll have 50p each way on Existent.
Just for old time's sake, indeed. Right. The 11th and final race we're going to look at then in front of the ITV cameras this weekend is the Summer Mile. Yes, it is summer. You might not believe it if you look outside the window, but it is supposed to be summer. This is the Summer Mile. We've got 9 going to post, and it's the unbeaten Quoudoir who takes out a chunk of the market. Obviously, the winner here on Trials Day at Royal Ascot didn't go to the big meeting. Is he the one to be on, or something else with a bit more experience could overcome him?
Yeah, it's great. We're talking about the jockeys again. Callum Shepherd. We all saw what happened to him in the Derby. Then he comes out and wins on Isle of Jura. Looks like he's going to have a big ride in the King George. A whole lot to look forward to him. And Kidwell could be absolutely anything. Well done to the Crisford team. They look like they're finally getting back on track. I will go in one last time. I've done it with Rogue Lightning. I'm going back in again with Mbesto. And who is it that gets the opportunity this time? It's Ray Dawson for Roger Varian. Sometimes you latch onto a stable, you think they're in good form. You look at where they've got their runners spread far and wide throughout the meeting. I think it's going to be a super, super time for the Varian team on Saturday. And Ray Dawson, he just needs to get back on track. We know about his enforced absence. He's talented in the saddle. Let's hope he can get it together on Mbesto.
Yeah, better than the Summer Mile. Yeah, it just sound like nailing your colours to the mast of the Varian Yard this weekend. Right, 11 races discussed. Lots of choice then for your strongest and best bet of the weekend. What may that be?
I think it's got to be Kirat, who goes for Ryan Moore. Look, I know it's a handicap. I know he's on a mark of 92. But the run in the Britannia, if you watch that back, all the action was over towards far side centre. He was the only one hitting the line here. He gets a massive jockey upgrade. Ryan Moore gets on board. I think he will make a mockery of that handicap. We'll be looking at him at the furlong marker, cantering, hopefully, and get the job done.
Kirat then for Jason in that 250, the mile handicap. Right, join Jason on ITV, dissecting all those races, and obviously, hopefully, we'll find a few winners as well amongst them. It's Super Saturday with loads of fantastic racing. Enjoy the action.